Caitlin Clark, the team's heartbeat, was sidelined for her 17th straight game with a groin injury. Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson, and Aari McDonald were also out, leaving 4 key guards in street clothes. For any team, that's a death knell. For the Fever, it was a call to dig deeper, to summon a resilience that would define not just this night, but their entire season. By the final buzzer, they didn't just win. They delivered a statement, fueled by an unlikely hero, a superstar's dominance, and a mindset that could carry them into the postseason and beyond. The Fever walked into this game with everything stacked against them. 4 losses in their last 5 had cast a shadow of doubt, whispers growing louder that their playoff hopes were slipping away. The Sparks, meanwhile, were hungry, sensing a chance to close the gap and knock Indiana out of contention. But something shifted in the Fever's locker room before tip-off. Coach Stephanie White's voice cut through the noise, her words a demand for grit. "We need to marry our energy and effort with execution." Aliyah Boston echoed that urgency, later describing the game as a moment where "next woman up" wasn't just a slogan, it was the team's lifeline. With half their rotation gone, every player on the floor had to be more than their role, every possession a fight for survival. The Sparks weren't just an opponent, they were a mirror, reflecting every weakness Indiana had to overcome. From the opening tip, the Fever played like a team possessed. The game was ugly, scrappy, and far from perfect, exactly the kind of battle that reveals a team's soul. Indiana didn't dazzle with highlight reel plays, they clawed for every inch. Lexi Hull, her face marked by 2 black eyes from a brutal collision with Gabby Williams in the previous game, embodied that spirit. She didn't flinch, diving for loose balls, battling through screens, and defending with a ferocity that belied her injuries. "I forget about it when I'm playing," Hull said post-game, shrugging off the pain with a laugh. Her teammates fed off that toughness. Aerial Powers brought fire off the bench, attacking the rim with relentless energy. Natasha Howard spun through defenders, her spin cycle moves leaving Sparks players grasping at air. But it was Odyssey Sims, the 31-year-old veteran who'd bounced between hardship contracts and roster cuts, who became the night's unexpected hero. Sims wasn't supposed to be the focal point. The scouting report circled names like Boston or Kelsey Mitchell, not a backup guard who'd spent years fighting for her place in the league. Yet, when Mitchell struggled, hitting only 5 of 14 shots, Sims stepped into the void. She played, with a calm ferocity, as if every possession was a chance to prove something, to herself, to her former team, the Sparks, and to the game itself. Her 21 points told only half the story. It was the timing of her buckets that turned the tide. She pushed the tempo when Indiana needed a spark, slowed it down when the Sparks threatened to surge. A lefty layup through traffic, a mid-range pull-up under pressure, a contested 3 that tied the game at 74. She was everywhere. Then came the moment that defined the night. With 13.6 seconds left, the score tight, and the crowd at Crypto.com, arena holding its breath, Sims rose for a quick floater. It dropped clean, giving Indiana the lead for good. As she jogged back, arms steady, face composed, it was clear. This was her moment, and she'd been ready for it all along. "If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready," she said later, her words a mantra for a team that refused to break. But the night belonged to Aliyah Boston as much as it did Sims. Boston didn't just play, she dominated her performance, a masterclass in carrying a team. She poured in 22 points, grabbed 11 rebounds, dished 4 assists, and set a career high with 6 steals. Every stat felt like a statement, every move a reminder of why she's the Fever's anchor. She powered through the Sparks' front court, her jump hook against Dearica Hamby dropping with a soft bounce. She kept the ball moving, finding teammates with precision passes, and when the game hung in the balance, she delivered the final blow. With 1.9 seconds left, the Sparks desperate for a miracle, Boston read the play like a script. As Kelsey Plum fumbled a pass, Boston pounced, ripping the ball out of the air and forcing a timeout that sealed the 78-75 victory. Her post-game words lit up Fever fans. Next woman up. It wasn't just talk, she'd lived it, carrying the team while trusting others to step up. Her leadership was the glue holding Indiana together, a beacon for a roster that could have crumbled but didn't. This win wasn't about style, it was about survival. The Fever's depth, tested to its limits, proved their strength. Hull's Bruised resilience, Power's energy, Howard's flair, and Sims' clutch performance all fed into Boston's vision of a team that thrives on selflessness. "We're a deep team," Boston said, praising the camaraderie that kept them cohesive despite the chaos. Coach White echoed her, calling out the character of these women who sacrifice for each other every day. The victory pushed Indiana's record to 21-18, solidifying their 6th seed and creating a crucial buffer over the Sparks in Seattle. It was proof that this team could beat a nemesis that had haunted them all season, even without their star power. And yet, the shadow of Caitlin Clark loomed large. Sidelined for 17 games, her absence has forced the Fever to reinvent themselves. But hope flickered on the horizon. For the first time in weeks, Clark was back in practice gear, moving through shoot-arounds and light scrimmages. Coaches watched closely, tracking her endurance and ability to handle contact. "She needs to sustain 94 feet, White said, cautious, but optimistic. Clark's return could be a game changer. Before her injury, she averaged 19 points and 8 assists, dictating pace and creating space for Boston and Mitchell. Pair her playmaking with Boston's dominance, Sims' veteran savvy, and Mitchell's scoring, and the Fever transformed from survivors to contenders. With 5 games left, against the Valkyries, Mercury, Sky, Mystics, and Lynx, every moment matters. A single loss could drop them in the standings, but a healthy Clark could propel them into the playoffs with momentum no opponent wants to face. This victory over the Sparks was more than a box score. It was a testament to a team that refuses to fold, a culture built on resilience and trust. Boston's "Next Woman Up" mantra wasn't just a quote. It was the blueprint for a win that changed the Fever's season. Sims' clutch floater, Hull's battered tenacity, and Boston's all-around brilliance showed a team learning to close games under fire. With Clark's return on the horizon, the Fever aren't just fighting to hang on, they're building towards something bigger. This win proved they can thrive without their star, but with her, they could be unstoppable. For Fever fans, hope burns brighter than ever, and 2025 feels like the start of something historic. What do you think? Was this win the turning point for Indiana's season, or will Caitlin Clark's return be the spark that pushes them into true contender status? Drop "Big Fever win" in the comments if you're pumped for this team, and let's talk about this game-changing night. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter of the Fever's rise. Share this with every Hoops fan you know, because Indiana's just getting started.